Mike is with Save I-90, and Steve is with the Center for Advanced Transportation and Energy Solutions. Gentlemen, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman King and committee members. My name is Mike Cero. I am a representative of the grassroots organization Save I-90. I'm here to talk about page 3, line 5, the I-90 two-way transit and HOV improvements, and I appreciate the work that you've done on this budget, but I have a few suggestions that I'd like to entertain with you. At line 3, page 33, line 5, are suggestions to do a full appraisal of the I-90 center lane corridor, to do a full EIS that considers new technologies that were not available just a short time ago. It wasn't too long ago that battery-operated buses able to virtually train together were in the realm of only George Jetson. And finally, a full review of the safety considerations of R8A. I'll reference the last issue, safety. I'd like to introduce you to the concept of precautionary principle. This is a management principle adopted by the Europeans and our EPA, where they evaluate projects. In practice, what this gives is a grad student with $50,000 and a clipboard under the precautionary principle. If they suspect risk, then the burden of proof that some activity or design is not harmful falls on those taking action that may or may not be at risk. I bring this up. I'm not a proponent of precautionary principle, but I feel there is far and away sufficient question to the R8A reconfiguration as to justify not closing the I-90 center lane for a one-year R8A trial. We have a lot of bridges in the United States, but not many undergoing a reconfiguration like I-90 with the R8A configuration. There is, though, the Brent Spence Bridge over the Ohio. In 1985, the Brent Spence Bridge reconfigured from 3 12-foot lanes to 4 11-foot lanes. When I go through the outcome of this reconfiguration, keep in mind the similarities between this Brent Spence Bridge and the I-90, aka Lacey v. Murrow Bridge across Lake Washington. The Brent Spence Bridge is 1/3 of a mile long. I-90, 1 1/4 miles long. The Brent Spence Bridge is reconfiguring 3 by 12 lanes to 4 11-foot lanes. I-90's reconfiguration is also 3 by 12 and 2 4 by 11-foot lanes, but also with some 10-foot 5-foot lanes in the tubes just prior to the pontoons. Lastly, the Brent Spence Bridge entrances and exits are straight shots going to the bridge, whereas you know the I-90, the entrances and exits have curves to it. So we know what happened to the Brent Spence reconfiguration. The bridge was classified as one of only 15 bridges across this country as functionally obsolete. What will this do to your transportation budget when I-90 becomes the 16th bridge on the nation's functionally obsolete list? The Brent Spence Bridge has the 7th highest crash rate among those functionally obsolete bridges. The Brent Spence Bridge has a crash rate of 22 per lane mile compared to 4 in Ohio, 3 in Indiana, and 2 in Kentucky. Finally, the Brent Spence Bridge experiences about 8 crashes a month, requiring emergency vehicles. Why would we not expect the same performance from the R8A reconfiguration? So I'm not a grad student with a clipboard wanting to close down a project for the snail darter or something like that. I'm a concerned citizen worried that closing the center lane before a full vetting of R8A is endangering I-90 corridor users without giving our leaders flexibility to adapt from a Brent Spence type performance. Thank you for listening, and thank you again for your service to the state.
Thank you, sir. Please.
Senator King, committee members, thank you for having us. I'm also focused on the provision in the current proposed budget that would recognize the access issues on I-90. Right now it's scheduled to close down the center lanes on I-90 on June 1st for a period of maybe 6 or more years. There are a lot of us that live on Mercer Island, on the eastern part of Lake Washington, in fact, out to Issaquah and all along I-90 that will be adversely affected by that shutdown. We think the shutdown is too long, that it could be a year or two instead of 6 or 7 years, avoiding that adverse impact. It would also give time to look at the other issues that have been raised in current litigation with Sound Transit. It would allow work with the U.S. Department of Transportation on providing additional access. It would allow for a study of some of the alternatives. We've put some of this language in a proposed suggestion to strengthen the proviso that you already have in the proposed budget. And basically are asking that this committee take the provision, take the time, take a 2-year period of time, which is what the length of a budget proviso would do, and study these issues in a little more depth, including the safety issues, including the environmental issues, including the access issues that go across the state, and including the evaluation issues that would require money to go into the State Highway Trust Fund for other projects around the state. So with that, I commend you to take a look at our proposed suggestions, and I'll leave copies with the Senate staff.
All right, very good. Gentlemen,
Thank you.
Thanks for your testimony. I appreciate you being here. With that, I'd like to call up